Rob, the Premier League are concerned with the sporting integrity if Chelsea cannot sell tickets. What's the latest on that?
Yeah, this would be an issue for upcoming games at Stamford Bridge if away fans aren't allowed in, because as it stands now, Chelsea are restricted in terms of their ability to generate new revenue because they are a football club that is a frozen asset, an asset of Roman Abramovich's that's been subject to the sanctions imposed as the consequence of Russia's war on Ukraine, and it does limit Chelsea's ability to operate as a business. They're only operating now under a special government licence. So Chelsea are in talks with the government about trying to ease the restrictions of this licence. So they've already had the ability to spend on match days increased from £500,000 to £900,000. And what they're trying to do now is secure the right to sell tickets, because they're going to Middlesbrough in the FA Cup next weekend. They can't sell more tickets to their own fans, and that's Middlesbrough who lose out on the revenue from that as well. And also, looking ahead to future weeks in the Premier League, the only fans who could be allowed into Stamford Bridge are those who already have tickets, so Chelsea season ticket holders, and an empty away end. So away teams would be put at a disadvantage because they wouldn't have their own support through no fault of their own, just because Chelsea are a sanctioned entity.
So realistically, how quickly do you think the Chelsea Football Club can be sold? And are there any prospective buyers at the moment?
Well, on Saturday, Roman Abramovich received the formal notification from the Premier League that he was now disqualified from owning the club, from running the club, from being a director. This would normally mean he would have to sell in 28 days, but the Premier League board do obviously recognise there needs to be some leeway in this, because the government now has some oversight over the sale process. They'll have to grant a new licence for the club to be sold, because it can't be sold in any way that Abramovich benefits from the proceeds of the sale. So there are many people in the frame now. Several, we've got an American-led consortium from the part owner of the LA Dodgers. We've got a British property tycoon, even suggestions of a Saudi bid as well from businessmen there. So many people are starting to put their hat into the ring, and they're going to have to come forward with serious bids, it seems, this week, whether or not it reaches the level of even £2 billion, even £3 billion that had been talked about just a couple of weeks ago, when actually Abramovich first put the club up for sale, and things are moving so quickly. That was a point when he was still the owner without any sanctions against him, but while knowing pressure was building from the politicians for him to be sanctioned. So there's not only a sale process to run, being overseen by the Rain Bank in New York, but also then questions, where does the money go? And the original Abramovich plan had been for what seemed to be a new foundation to go to the victims of the war in Ukraine. But would these proceeds just go to a charity at the choosing of the government? It is one of the most complex sales, this, in the history of the Premier League, involving one of the biggest clubs.
Rob Harris, thank you very much.